I'm Leo with Matrix Jiu-Jitsu, and today we're just going to go over the simple, boring knee cut. You know, even to this day, this is still one of my #1 passes, and statistically in tournaments, okay, it's one of the more popular passes that people use, and it still works, okay? So your standard knee cut, I'm going to put my hand on the hip, put the knee down, start to knee cut over, and get this underhook tricep, slide right into side control, okay? But what typically happens with your knee cut, okay, there's a couple things. Number one, as I try to go ahead and knee cut, he throws that knee shield in, boom. Now I can't go ahead and knee cut. The other thing that happens is, even if I can go ahead and clear this knee shield and get my knee down, he figure fours my back foot here, and now, even if I have the underhook, it's hard for me to clear this knee into side control, okay? Now, even if I clear this knee into side control by cutting it back or cutting it to the side, what it does is it leaves some space here. So even if I can free this here, there's some space, and he can drop his bottom knee in, and now I'm back in guard, and all that work that I did, I'm going to have to do over. So we're going to go over how to counter those two things that typically prevent the knee cut, all right? So first thing is I want to prevent that knee shield from coming in. And the way that I'm going to do that is, as I enter, I like to enter from an angle here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin his hip with my hand and then put my arm against his leg and frame it out just like this. So now I'm going to put my shoulder against here. So now as he tries to put his knee shield in, it's going to be hard for him to do, okay? At the same time, I'm framing down on this leg so that I can start to enter into my knee cut, all right? Now, as I enter into my knee cut, I don't just throw my knee down as soon as I can. Because when I do that, what it does is it leaves this little part of my foot, which almost inevitably gets figure forward, okay? And that's going to make it hard for me to complete this pass. Instead, what I do, as I pin down this hip and I start my knee cut, what I want to do is think about putting my knee as high as possible. I want to think about putting my knee into his armpit. And what that does is I'm going to try to put my instep on his thigh. So as I knee cut this really high, and I'm actually sitting on my heel right here. So now, even if he tries to figure four my leg, there's nothing for him to figure four, okay? From here, this is really easy to complete. I'm still putting pressure here on this hip. Now all I have to do is pivot right into side control. When I'm in this position, sometimes they'll go ahead and struggle, and because I'm pinning this hip, and because my hips are already kind of past his, this is a really easy position to just ride out until I feel like I want to transition into side control. Okay? Now, you're probably going to mess this up, and what's going to happen is they're going to throw that doggone knee shield in. Okay? So, boom, I go to pin the hip. Hold on just a second. I go to pin the hip, but maybe I don't do a good job, and he slips that in, and now I'm in this position right here. Okay? We've all been here. We're probably here every time we roll. All right? So I have to deal with this knee shield. Very, very easy. I'm going to put my hand on the hip here. I'm going to scoop the leg, the bottom leg, and then I'm going to shuffle to my right just a couple steps. My goal is to get his knees pointing up to the ceiling here. And as I do that, this elbow circles and I frame out, put my shoulder down on this leg. Now when he tries to put that knee shield back in, he can't. From here, I do my high knee cut, meaning I try to launch my knee as high as possible. I'm trying to aim for the armpit so that my instep is on his thigh. Right here, boom. I already know I'm probably going to get this pass. So even if he struggles here, notice my hips are really high, almost in line, and possibly above his hips. It's going to be really hard for him to counter this. Plus, since I'm sitting on my heel, it's very difficult for him to figure four my back foot. This is an easy pass from here. Boom. Right here. Okay. So one more time. I enter into my knee cut. My goal here is to pin this hip. Bang. Pinning that hip. Okay. As he's trying to bring that leg across, I'm going to go ahead and push this knee down. Do my high knee cut, putting my instep on his thigh and almost trying to put my knee into his armpit. bang, right here. So now I can even let go of this, and he can try to grab my leg. Not going to happen. Just grab this arm here, and I can slide right into my... So I do everything right, but he catches that figure 4 on my leg. So here I am. My knee's pretty high here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to shift him this way, put my knee on him right here, punish him a little bit, okay? Then I'm going to do one more shift, right into 3/4 mount. Okay, so one more time. I mess up somewhere, and boom, we're here. He's got my leg in 3/4 mount. Kind of a bummer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift him onto his back, right here. Punish him a little bit with my knee, and then I'm going to make one more shift, right into 3/4 mount. From here, they're usually going to frame out here, okay? Sometimes they'll do this. Sometimes they'll put their arm there. Okay, if they do that, all I got to do is step up my leg, and this is an easy submission here. But most of the time, they're going to frame out with this top hand right here, just like that, boom. With 2 hands, I'm just going to push this hand down, boom. Step over with this leg, and drop my hip all the way down, and I'm going to cover his back. Usually they'll be on their side. Go on your side a little bit more. I'm going to cover this here so he can't get the underhook, and then use this bottom leg. I'll lift this knee to kick, and there's my side control. That's actually one of my favorite passes. Okay, so one more time. If you mess this up, and somehow they get this figure 4 on your bottom leg, okay, I'm still in good position here. All right. I usually like to grab the sleeve, or if I have to grab the collar, that's fine. But I'm going to shift my knee onto him, punish him a little bit here, then make one more shift and put my knee on the ground. And this is very typical. He'll be on his side, and they'll frame out here. 2 hands on this. I'm just going to push it down, step over, slide my hip down his body. And as I do, I want this arm to cover his back so that he can't come up for an underhook. Just like this. From here, this bottom leg, I'm going to lift my knee and kick his thigh right into side control. One of my favorite passes there from that 3/4 mount. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you got something out of it, even if it just made you laugh. But also a big thank you to Justin from RYU Jiu-Jitsu. Really appreciate you coming out to interview me, and also RYU BJJ. I'm a new gym owner, and so I'm just humbled that you guys would come out and talk to me for a little bit, but I really enjoyed it, so thank you.